For years, they told us we needed to adapt. We didn't understand the future. And every time we complained, they added one more screen, one more sensor, one more fake premium feature that made ownership worse. But manufacturers are finally scrapping the features they pushed hardest. Not because they found common sense, but because warranty claims piled up. Safety scores slipped and smart buyers walked. Today we're counting down the 11 features they're finally removing. The ones we knew all along were garbage. Number 11. Gesture controls. Waving your hand at the dashboard to change a song sounds futuristic for about 5 minutes. Then it turns into a daily irritation. In real ownership, gesture controls are a perfect storm of false triggers and missed commands. Sunlight hits the cabin, you reach for a drink, and suddenly the navigation zooms out or the volume jumps. Now you're looking at the screen just to figure out what the car thought you did. That's why these are quietly disappearing. They're not essential, they're rarely used, and they don't help resale value. They exist to impress in a showroom, not to work in real life. If your car has gesture controls, turn them off. If you're shopping, don't pay for them. Features don't vanish unless owners reject them. And if you think that's bad, the next one looks premium until you touch it. Number 10. Piano black interior trim. Piano black plastic is the automotive version of white sneakers in a mud pit. It looks great under showroom lights, and then it looks terrible forever. In real ownership, it attracts fingerprints, dust, and scratches instantly. Wipe it once and it looks sandblasted. Owners blame themselves, the detailer, anything but the material. The truth is simpler. It's cheap plastic with a glossy coating that can't handle daily use. Manufacturers loved it because it photographs luxury while costing far less than aluminum or textured trim. That's why it's quietly disappearing, replaced by matte finishes and real materials where hands actually touch. If you see piano black, treat it like a warning label. This doesn't mean every interior needs leather, just surfaces that don't look ruined after a year. Number 9. Touch-sensitive steering wheel controls. Touch controls on steering wheels are one of the most insulting design decisions of the last decade. The steering wheel isn't a place for experimentation. It's where certainty matters most. In real ownership, these controls misfire when you adjust your grip, ignore you when your hands are cold, and demand attention from something that should be pure muscle memory. You meant volume, you get voice control. You meant cruise, you get menu. The car ends up arguing with you while you're trying to drive. That's why reversals are happening. Physical buttons are returning, switches are becoming tactile again, and functions are being separated. Not because designers found humility, but because buyers rejected them and safety testing punishes eyes-off road interfaces. If a steering wheel uses touch controls, assume you'll hate them. Try adjusting volume while turning, wearing gloves, on a rough road. Technology isn't the problem, experimental controls are. Number 8. Fake engine sound through the speakers. Some cars pump artificial engine noise through the speakers to make a small engine feel big. It sounds clever until you realize you're paying to be lied to. In real ownership, fake engine sound breaks an important feedback loop. Drivers use sound to judge load and response. When it's synthetic, that link gets distorted. And on long drives, that constant fake intensity becomes tiring fast. Once buyers notice it, the illusion collapses. Premium turns into cheap trick. That's why you're seeing more sound-off options, authentic modes, and in some cases, the feature quietly disappearing altogether. If your car has active sound enhancement, turn it off. You'll get a calmer cabin and more honest feedback. This doesn't mean cars can't be fun. It means fun shouldn't depend on deception. And speaking of deception, the next one is literally bolted to the back of the car. Number 7. Fake exhaust tips. Fake exhaust tips are one of those features that shouldn't exist on principle. You have an exhaust, it exits somewhere, that's reality. Then manufacturers started hiding the real outlet underneath and molding exhaust tips into the bumper like jewelry. In real ownership, the lie becomes obvious fast. The first wash, the first look underneath, the first time you notice soot where soot shouldn't be. It's the automotive version of plastic food in a restaurant window. Decoration pretending to be functional. That's why these are finally being removed. It's not just tacky, it damages trust. Buyers don't feel sporty, they feel played. And when that happens at scale, brands remember. You're now seeing a shift toward honest hidden outlets or real functional tips on trims where performance actually exists. Styling still matters, it just shouldn't depend on lying. Now let's get to the feature that looked clean and modern right up until you tried to use it while driving. Number 6. Automatic software updates you don't control. Over-the-air updates were sold like a gift. Your car improves while you sleep. No dealer visits, new features. Real ownership looks different. Bluetooth that worked yesterday suddenly doesn't. Cameras glitch, screens freeze, settings move or vanish. And if an update locks you out while it installs, you're stuck waiting for your car to finish being a computer. That's why manufacturers are quietly changing course. More manual scheduling, more user control, clearer warnings. Because when a phone update fails, you restart it. When a car update fails, you lose transportation. The real driver is liability. The more software controls core function, the more updates become safety events. Avoid cars that force updates without control. Software isn't the problem. Losing control is. Now we're moving from annoying to expensive, the kind of feature that strands you. Number 5. Run flat tires as the default solution. Manufacturers spent years stripping out spare tires and handing owners a can of tire foam like it was progress. In real ownership, a simple nail turns into a headache. Run flats are expensive, ride harshly, and aren't always available outside major cities. Foam kits often ruin a repairable tire and leave a mess behind. That's why you're seeing a quiet retreat. Spare tires returning as options, non-run flats becoming standard on more trims, and mobility kits fading from the sales pitch. Owners did the math and rejected the modern solution. If you road trip, live outside a city, or value not being stranded, a real spare still matters. This doesn't mean run flats are always bad. It means deleting the spare was never about convenience. Next is the feature sold as comfort that behaves like a confused intern controlling your HVAC. Number 4. Fully automated climate control that won't stay sensible. Automatic climate control sounds like a luxury. Set a temperature and forget it. In real ownership, many systems feel more like climate gambling. Full fan blast at startup, sudden swings, foggy windows because the car guessed wrong, constant cycling that makes it feel indecisive. Automation isn't the problem. Replacing simple, reliable controls, then hiding the manual backup in menus and sliders is. That's why physical climate controls are returning and systems are being tuned to behave less aggressively by default. A showroom demo doesn't matter if daily driving feels like the car is fighting you. On a test drive, try changing fan speed or defrost without looking. If you can't do it instantly, you'll resent it. This doesn't mean automatic climate is bad. It means heat shouldn't require a tutorial. Now we get to the feature sold as safety, that sometimes grabs the wheel when you least expect it. Number 3. Overly aggressive lane keeping intervention. Lane assist, lane keep, lane centering, whatever your brand calls it, was sold as accident prevention. On clean highways with clear markings, it can help. But real ownership includes rural roads, construction zones, faded paint, snow, and tight lanes where perfect centering isn't what you want. That's when it becomes a problem. It nudges you while avoiding debris, fights you when giving cyclists space, and gets confused by old markings. Now the driver's doing 2 jobs at once, driving the road and managing the car's opinion of it. What's being removed isn't assistance, it's aggression and unpredictability. Manufacturers are dialing back intervention, making systems easier to disable and shifting toward warning first behavior because drivers don't want surprise steering. If a system won't remember your settings and forces itself back on every drive, that's a red flag. Safety tech shouldn't create new hazards. Next, we move from annoying to expensive, a reliability gamble you pay for later. Number 2, electronic door handles that pop out, freeze, or fail. Door handles used to be simple. You pull, the door opens, that's it. Then manufacturers turn them into theater, flush, motorized, illuminated, making basic access feel like a performance. Real ownership doesn't care about theater, it cares whether the door opens in rain, cold, dirt, and after years of use. That's where these systems fall apart. They freeze, motors fail, sensors misread, and when they do, you're not pulling harder, you're locked out or staring at an absurd repair bill for something that used to be a lever. Flush handles look futuristic and test well on paper. They photograph nicely and sell high tech in a short clip. But the ownership penalty is real, and manufacturers are backing off, adding manual overrides, simplifying designs, or abandoning full motorization altogether. If a handle can't be opened easily when wet or with a dead battery, that's not premium, it's fragile. And now number 1, the feature owners hated so much they paid money just to defeat it. Number 1, auto start-stop you can't permanently disable. Auto start-stop got sold as smart efficiency. Shut off at red lights, restart instantly, save fuel, save emissions. Here's the real ownership reality. Most people don't hate it because it exists. They hate it because it's forced, unpredictable, and it makes the car feel worse. The moment you hesitate at a green light, the moment the restart feels rough, the moment the system chooses the wrong time in traffic, it stops being efficient and starts being irritating. And irritation matters, because irritation becomes behavior. People disable it, complain about it, and tell other buyers not to buy the car. Now add the second layer, wear pathways. Start-stop systems demand heavier duty starters and batteries, and they still create more cycling than a traditional setup. Even if the system is engineered for it, the owner experience is what kills it. That constant off-on feeling, the delay, the lack of smoothness. Here's the part manufacturers underestimate. Owners will accept almost anything if they can choose it. But when you remove the ability to permanently disable it, you turn the feature into a daily argument. That's why aftermarket defeaters exist. People literally pay money to restore what used to be normal. An engine that stays on. So what does finally removing look like here? 2 things. In some models, the system is being softened, made less intrusive, or turned into a mild hybrid solution that avoids the harsh restart feel. And more importantly, manufacturers are being pushed, by buyers and by competitive pressure, to give people control again. Because whether start-stop is worth it in theory doesn't matter. In practice, the feature became a symbol. The car doing what it wants, not what you want. If the car forces start-stop back on every drive, assume you'll resent it. Prioritize models that either remember your setting or use a smoother hybrid system that doesn't create that dead pause. This doesn't mean fuel-saving tech is evil. It means forcing it on people was the mistake. Here's what you should do now. Test for annoyance at 30 seconds, not 30 minutes. If a feature irritates you immediately, it will torture you at 60,000 miles. Pay for control, not complexity. Physical buttons, real spares, honest materials, and disable options age better than gimmicks. Treat quiet removals as truth. If manufacturers are deleting something, it's because real owners reject it. This avoids the mistake most buyers make, trusting showroom tech that collapses in real life. Next time, don't ask, is it modern? Ask, does it stay good after the honeymoon?